Welcome to the channel, everyone. BLN437, and today we are going to go over Game 5 of the National League Championship Series between the Chicago Cubs. I was going to say the Chicago Cubs first before the National League Championship Series, but versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, let's just say it, flat out say it. Congratulations, you guys are now in the World Series. It's been since 1988. Holy cow. I just want to say congratulations to the Dodger fans, man. There's a lot of Dodger fans that I know. My grandfather being one of the old school Brooklyn Dodger fans. Very excited to see the Dodgers back in the World Series. You guys deserve it. You guys earned it. It's been so long. It couldn't have happened to a better team, a better place than Los Angeles, who hasn't, like I said, hasn't seen a World Series since 1988. Those guys are just absolutely great. I'm glad to see that. Hershiser was there, I believe, in the 88 team. You had Gibson and a few others. I can't really remember much because I haven't really been taught much about that 1988 Dodgers team, but I guarantee you if I went back, it would be a stacked team and a nice team as well. But once again, I just want to say congratulations to you guys. You guys earned it. And you know what? I know that the 1988 Dodger team was probably great, but this team, it impresses me, man. 1 through 9 in that lineup is amazing. You have guys like Taylor, Turner, Puig, Bellinger, Grandal, Kike Hernandez, who can come off the bench and do what he does. All these guys are just, they flat out dominate, man. They can do anything on the field. They can swing with the best of them. They can do everything with the best of them. And I look at this, man. This is probably the most talented team I've seen in such a long time, and even more talented than that Cubs team that you guys saw last year. I mean, this team can do it all, and they didn't have Corey Seager. So imagine once Corey Seager comes back for the World Series, how great this team is going to be. This team is going to be a handful for any team that gets into the World Series, Yankees or Astros, period. You know, and it's just crazy. Like I said, I love this team. I think this team is a great team. I think out of all of the National League teams out there, this was the team that set themselves up best for October. If you look at the acquisitions that they made in the trade deadline, they got Darvish, they got 2 bullpen arms in Grandal, and Sangrani and Watson, on top of Kenley Jansen, and now Brandon Morrow's coming out of the pen, going multiple innings and doing damage. I mean, this team is set, man. This team is set for October. They were built for October once the trade deadline hit, and I never understood why the people that were going with the Cubs to win the series and going with the Cubs to repeat or even make it to the World Series had them going to the World Series. And I'll get to them in a minute, but that just was silly to me. And it showed. It completely showed. But let's get on with the Cubs for a second here. I want to congratulate the Cub fans as well. Listen, this was a tough way to end the series, no doubt about it. And it's a tough way to end the season if you're a Cubs fan. But you look at it, and let's look at the highs. You guys have made it to 3 National League Championship Series. That's impressive. Not a lot of teams do that anymore. And they were able to make it. They lost to the Mets in 2015, but they were kind of like this Dodgers team that was. They were kind of one step away. They were just missing that key piece, and then they were just missing that step on how to get there. And they learned it in 2016, applied it in 2016, made it to the World Series, and they were able to make it here and get to the championship series, and that was important. And hey, like I said, there's nothing to be ashamed of. If you look at this team was just tired, I think, physically from going through 3 National League Championship Series and then going through a World Series as well. So that's a lot of postseason baseball. That's a lot of baseball to be played. And honestly, if you want to look at how they lost this series, and I'll get to that in a moment when I go over the series, it's going to be offense, obviously, and it's just unfortunate. But once again, Cub fans, don't be ashamed. This was a great team. Still had a great season. Made it to your 3rd National League Championship Series. That's impressive. You guys are going to be back in the National League Championship Series. In my opinion, again, I don't think that there's anybody that's going to stop the Cubs from getting to the National League Championship Series. The only team that's going to stop them from getting to the World Series, I think, is this team right here, the Los Angeles Dodgers. But other than that, you guys still have that young core. Bryant, Rizzo, Contreras is now an emerging star. You do have some holes. You do need Baez to step up, and you do need Schwarber to kind of do what he did in the World Series and actually make that a whole season. But other than that, this team is stacked all around, and the pitching does need to be worked a little bit. And I think that'll get better over time as well. But let's get into the series, man. I mean, if you look at this series once again, like I said, the offense just let the Cubs down. When you don't have your main guys like Bryant, Rizzo leading the way, on top of the fact that Baez hasn't been Javier Baez of 2016, it hurts, and it showed, man. It completely showed, and I really wish that the Dodgers had played a better. I mean, not the Dodgers. The Cubs have played a better series, but they weren't able to play that series that they needed, and I mean, I don't know what I don't know what to say. I mean, because I didn't see this from the Cubs. I mean, last year the Cubs, they had Bryant, they had Rizzo that showed up. They did what they needed to do. They were, they were still the big guys, and I thought that those big guys would at least show up in this series. I thought that the reason why the Dodgers were going to win this series was mainly because they have no pen, and the rotation is not the same rotation that we've seen in previous years. When we were looking at the Cubs teams in 2015 and 2016, what were the common themes of that Cubs team in 2015 and 2016? Jake was on his game. Hendricks was an emerging star in last year. Lester was still Lester, and on top of those three, you had a John Lackey who was productive. John Lackey had not been productive this whole season, pretty much. He was on and off. Lester he's kind of falling off, but I don't want to say he's falling off completely because I still think that there's a lot left in John Lester, and I think he's going to be able to turn it around next year. Jake was decent, but he wasn't the Jake that we've seen for the past 2 years, and Hendricks wasn't that Cy Young Award winner for a good chunk of the season. He started to pick it up in the postseason, but he wasn't that Hendricks that we had seen in last year's postseason and last year's regular season this year. And I think that's what really hurt them, on top of not having a legitimate setup man. They don't have a decent setup man. It's like if they can't get to Davis, they can't get to anybody. And Strop and Rendon have been decent, but they aren't guys that, as I can tell, that Joe Maddon trusts. He doesn't trust those guys in big situations, because if not, why wasn't Rendon coming in the 8th inning when you were down? Why was it Carl Edwards Jr. who he showed up this season? He became a big part of that bullpen this season, but he faltered in the postseason. I don't get it. I don't understand why. And I think that that's more credit to what the Nationals and what the Dodgers have just been able to do offensively. They've been able to kind of question Joe Maddon's decisions, or not question his decisions, but kind of make him question what he wants to do next in these games, because the Dodgers just handed to them. Just completely flat out handed to them. And the Dodgers should have swept the series, to me, in my eyes. I think that other than that Wood performance where he kind of just got a little, off, or he was just a little off, the Cubs sweep this series, in my opinion. But, I mean, not the Cubs, the Dodgers. Why do I keep saying the Cubs? I'm just thinking about the Cubs because I was just looking at the TV and they were doing interviews with Cub players and with Joe Maddon. But you gotta respect this Dodgers team. Like I said, they're talented. If we're going off of the World Series and who's gonna win it, depending on which two teams are in it, I don't know. I'll say this: the Astros, in my eyes, personally, are a better fit, so to speak, because the Astros don't have the bullpen, almost like the Cubs. So the Yankees can at least kind of fight back with the bullpen. But the Yankees don't have the offense that the Astros have, and that's a key. That is a key to me, and I think that's going to be the key to whichever team does win the American League Championship Series. If I'm the Yankees, and I'm just looking at it the Yankees perspective, then I look at it as the way that I win that series against the Dodgers, because there's only really one way to win the series against the Dodgers: have a lead. If you don't have a lead before the 5th inning, the Dodgers are going to eat you up with their bullpen as well. If you're the Astros, it's the same thing: have a lead, but Keuchel and Verlander have to go 8 innings just to get them to Giles, because I don't trust Giles in a two inning scenario. And the reason why I started off with the Yankees first is just because everybody's just so blown away that the Yankees are going to win this series and they're going to take it from the Astros. I think that you have to wait. We've seen teams be up 3-2 and fall. I've seen a 3-0 team lose 4 straight. So I'm not going to say that it's a foregone conclusion. If it does happen, I'll be excited. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, unfortunately. But like I said, this Dodger team, out of all of the teams, man, scary. You guys don't want to face them. They're too scary, and I give them that much respect, man. Clayton Kershaw finally, couldn't happen to a better person, man. Clayton Kershaw finally was able to be the Clayton Kershaw that I know he is, and I think that other people are. And I'm tired of people crapping on Clayton Kershaw. Oh, he can't do this. He can't do that. He's trash this. He's trash that. Clayton Kershaw's not trash. Clayton Kershaw, just because he's had a couple of bad postseason outings doesn't mean that he's bad and he can't handle the pressure. You look at Clayton Kershaw, he was going 7-8 innings when he didn't have to go 7 or 8 innings because Torrey and Mattingly didn't want to take him out of the game because they didn't have a pen back in those days. And I just think that over the years, he's, going into the World Series or going into the postseason, I mean, he's just been tired. And he was finally able to get some rest here. He finally has a bullpen with Zangrani and with Zangrani and Watson, and now Kenley Jansen who could come in, and like I said, Brandon Morrow, and you see it. It's helped him. It's helped him big time, and he's set, man. He's ready. And with him, Darvish, and Alex Wood and Rich Hill, man, that's a rotation. That is a great rotation. They're hot right now. The Dodgers have only lost one game in this postseason, so any team that faces them knows that they're facing a hot team right now. And beware, the Dodgers are here. The Dodgers are freaking here. So that's just gonna be a great series. Whoever they play is gonna be a great series. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna end it here. Once again, Dodger fans, congratulations. You guys deserved it. Completely deserved it. You guys outplayed pretty much everyone in this postseason up to this point. I look forward to them having a great showing in the World Series. And I'm going to be back with Game 6 of the American League Championship Series, the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees. The Yankees are obviously looking to end this series tomorrow night against Verlander. Verlander looking to extend this series to one more game, that crazy Game 7 that I think everybody wants to see, honestly, except for Yankee fans. And let's just see what happens, man. I don't know what's going to happen in that game tomorrow. I honestly don't know. But once again, guys, I'm out of here. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Comment as well. Share this video with all of your friends. And if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys once again tomorrow for the Yankees and Astros game. Yankees/Astros game tomorrow.